printed out the pictures I'm going to use. I have this parking pass too, because we actually had our first date night in like forever. And then I have a few die cuts. These ones that I have pulled here, these are from, where's the other one? Oh, this one out here. Are from a Tim Holtz ideology pack. So it has like these like, I'm gonna say Victorian, like a vintagey flower vibe. So I pulled a few of these just because it matched it. And then these both were cut from scrapbook paper. They were like a striped one like this. So this is, you can see the little divots. They were at the bottom of them. So I had cut them out off camera just to save some time. So I have two of them and I like them bookending the page itself like this. And then I have all this to work with. But I did play around like kind of doing it this way, which could still work. I would just have to cut a lot of the things and have it work out and repunch it, which is what I was avoiding. So here right now is what I've done so far off camera, just to kind of make this video a little bit shorter. So the difference also that I am trying to ponder is I printed out my pictures in color this time. Not to say that challenges it, but it kind of does. But my concern with them is that they're like squares and hard edges, where this is like very organic. And granted, there are the 90-degree angles from the layout. But my idea was to kind of use my 2-inch punch and make them all into circles. That way I can kind of cluster them, and in my eyes, they won't have like the hard edges, which, you know, is neither here nor there. So I can make them all into circles because they really can fit nicely in there, and then kind of group like the circle, circle, and circle, and then kind of tuck a flower underneath it, and then, you know, circle, 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 same thing over here, and then tuck a few flowers underneath it, and then my journaling can go around it without keeping these boxy, is my only thought. I've never actually done that before, so this is going to be like a whole experiment thing with us, because I'm not sure if that's going to work out or if I'm going to like it. But it was just an idea so that I didn't have the edges of the photos with the organic cut of this as well. I was also thinking about how I can tuck some of them into some of this, but like, you know, some of it could be done like this, but then like to me, I was just still like, but the edges just kind of kill me. So that's why I went with the circle. My other thing in thinking too, and it would be a step to do before I decide that, was, and I follow her a lot. Her name is Alicia behind scrappywife.com, and I watch her a lot. I'll probably link her, if I can remember, link her down below. She's great, and she does memory planning too, which is why I like her, because you get, you know, inspired by others. And she had recently done a page where she used stencils and her oxide inks and gave herself a background that had snowflakes all around it, which was so cute. So I was just thinking, I have so many stencils, and I pull out a few of these like florally ones that I have. These two are Tim Holtz, little mini ones. So I was thinking, like with my oxides, I could kind of add a few more of these florally details around it. That way it also can distract from some of the grid that's going on. So I actually might do that too, just to kind of add something to the background, and then add the photos and see where it goes. So we're gonna attach these first. We're gonna add these, and so I pulled out Victorian velvet, pine needles because it just matches the foliage, and then fossiled amber for some of the yellows that is there. And I picked Victorian velvet just because it's a softer pinky color, and then also sage. Like I do have festive berries, but I feel like it's too bright for the red that's in this. So these were the colors I pulled just in case I wanted to do something with these stencils. So that's where we're at. We're going to adhere these, stencil some stuff, and then cut these probably into circles and do little clusters. That way this stays very easy and nice. And then I do have pulled over here botanicals and papillon, simply for either more florals and or in here too. I like some of the butterflies, but I did pull butterflies here, but mostly because there was a page of like these circles that I thought, oh, that could be used like to tuck in behind the clusters that I'll do with the photos. So These are also the 2 sticker books I'll be working with. Okay, so let's put you on fast forward for a little bit so I can get some of this stuff done.
Okay guys, so let's start off with just pasting down with double-sided tape the floral clusters that I cut out of that scrapbook paper. It was just a beautiful piece to use. And let me tell you, I'm so excited about how the stenciling turned out. So don't get me wrong, it's not precise, it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be. That's kind of what the mixed media glory is. So this was a Tim Holtz, a little mini stencil. This I believe I got at Joann's, and I am using some of the lighter pastel-y shades from Distress Oxides to make the roses or the flower part a little bit of the pink, and obviously use the saged green for the foliage, but sometimes it overlapped or it didn't, and it worked out just fine. And I made sure to keep the stenciling close to the flowers itself as well. And I like that it just kind of blurred the lines on where the cluster from the scrapbook paper began and ended. And that way, once I have my photos as circles, they worked out really well along this kind of organic looking border on both sides. I'll have to say I've never done anything like this, and I really do like the way it turned out, so it might give me more inspiration to just do some stenciling and bust out some of my older supplies that are in my stash that I haven't used in a while, simply because I just always think that sometimes too it's so much of more effort to do something like this, but for the effect that it brings, it was well worth it, as they say. So I did use the 2-inch circle punch for my photos, and I cut them out, and I think that was a good step to do in this process as well, simply because it didn't leave the harsh edges for the photos as well. But don't get me wrong, I would, like I was saying too, I would have gladly just used a corner rounder for some of them, and I think the effect would have been just as nice. And so I'm just thumbing through a few of the sticker books I have. So I believe I was flipping through Botanicals and Papillon for just a quote or two that would match or suit the space that I was looking for. So I definitely needed it to fit in one of the vertical squares or rectangle areas. And I did find 2 that I liked and spoke to me for this layout. So that's exactly what we went with. And so I would encourage you, if in case you ever have A, your circle punch, or B, some stencils that you want to get through or get out, this was a great kind of technique to use. You saw me with that parking pass before. I didn't use it on this layout, but I will save it for my monthly Stuff of Life collage that will be coming up shortly. And that way I'll kind of use all those little bits of memorabilia from this week and the rest of the month there. So that will be coming up as well. I'm also excited because if you saw the unboxing for my Hip Kit Club, so I'm trying to get some scrapbooking done as well. So there's going to be a few variations in the content that I'm bringing you. I'm so glad you're here.
Okay, so we will finish it here. I didn't get to use any of these die cuts simply because after I was done with the stenciling was enough. If this wasn't already occupied, I could have tucked some of these there. So, and this one was there for a while placed, and I could have been, but then I wanted to add that. So I had them. They were well-intentioned to be used, but in the end, I really didn't need it. Any of these, except for the butterflies. I did use the butterflies. So I'll just save these for other projects. But this is really different and nice, and so I love it. So all my journaling clearly will go here. Probably, I'll leave the spacing there with the lines. That way it'll compartmentalize the journaling for it. So yeah, I hope you've had some inspiration. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, talk to you later.